back to when you were in high school. Think about how many friends you had, the grades you got, and just your overall presence. You might have had a lot of friends, decent grades, and didn't really have a problem getting through school. Now think about what your situation would have looked like if you were getting bullied. All the friends you thought you had aren't actually your friends at all. The good grades that you used to get are now rapidly declining, and instead of keeping your head up in the hallways, you tend to just look down at the floor a lot to not bring any attention to yourself. Bullying is happening all around us in this high school, and it sometimes can be hard to identify what effects bullying brings onto these students, as well as what solutions we can do to fix the problem of bullying. According to stopbullying.gov, it says that bullying can threaten a student's physical and mental well-being, as well as negatively affect their ability to learn. The same website did a study, and within their study, it showed that 50% of the students from grades 4 to 12 have experienced bullying within those given months, and another 70% of those students reported to have seen the bullying happen. Every student should feel 100% comfortable with attending school and not be afraid of what's going to happen to them when they show up. I would like to inform you about how bullying can affect a student's ability to learn. When I'm finished, you should be able to identify the effects of bullying as well as feel persuaded to make a policy change. When I was in high school, I got bullied for years to the point where I actually had to switch schools because my own high school did not know how to solve the problem. Through my own experience and research, I have been able to get a better understanding of the effects of bullying and also how to solve it. When I explain this process, I am going to be identifying how bullying affects a student's ability to learn and what actions the school can take in order to solve this problem of bullying. The first thing I will be doing is identifying how bullying affects a student's ability to learn. My first point is that it holds them back from achieving academically. UCLA performed a study with 2,300 students over the course of 3 years. Each student were asked to rate how they were bullied on a 4.0 scale and also report who they think were getting bullied the most. Over the course of 3 years from watching those students who were getting bullied the most, they found that bullying and low academic achievement were directly related. And this is because that these students are so mentally and physically exhausted from getting bullied all the time, they are way too distracted to do their schoolwork. Which brings me to my next point. Bullying is a huge distraction. The reason these kids have a low academic achievement is because they are so distracted by the fear of being bullied that they just don't pay attention in school. The fear of being attacked in the hallways, after school, or during class is so overpowering that that is all they can think of. An article from educationworld.com states that most kids who are being bullied aren't going to engage in academic studies because they are too distracted from the bullying. Fear of getting an answer wrong in class is such a huge thing for students who get bullied because they are too scared to get made fun of. So instead of participating in that class, they just don't do any work at all. When I was in school, before I got bullied, I was a straight A, straight B student. I was on the honor roll. I did very good. When I started getting bullied, you could just see my grades decrease. I started from an A and B student, started getting C's and D's. So when my school found out that I was getting cyberbullied, bullied in class, and during the hallways, there were so many students involved that they just did not know what to do, and it was easier for me to be transferred to another school. Through the years, I realized that I did have a lot of trauma because of this bullying, so I'm a prime example of bad effects of bullying. I felt the exact same way as these kids did. I didn't engage in class because I was too scared to get made fun of, and I was so distracted from bullying to the point where I just didn't do anything at all except for pay attention to me getting bullied. Being bullied destroys kids mentally, so when they're at home, they do not do their homework. literally at all. I know I didn't do my homework because I was way too mentally exhausted and distracted from all of this. Bullying affects a child's ability to learn and achieve academically because of how mentally exhausting it is. Children shouldn't be scared to walk into school. They should be able to do their classwork and not worry about who's going to pick on them that day. Now that you know the effects of bullying, I will be talking about what the school can do to actually fix this problem. So the first thing that they need to do is teach kids how to stand up for themselves and for each other. If they stick up to the bullies, then they will have no one to make fun of. I know that some people are very shy or might have low self-esteem, so it is very hard for them to stick up for themselves. So teaching other people to stick up for them is going to be another great way to get rid of bullying, because then these bullies will not have anyone to make fun of. For those who are not able to get rid of their own bullies, having others sticking up for them is going to help them a lot and also help build up their self-confidence. Some might say that it is not the school's responsibility, but an article from Public School Review states that over 16,000 students miss school because of it. So teaching these students will increase attendance overall. With them not attending school, it makes it the school's problem. Another thing the school can do is by teaching the staff and students what bullying looks like, and also identifying the characteristics of a bully and a victim. An article from EBSCO says that victims can be characterized as isolated, immature, lack of communication skills, they hate school, get bad grades, don't have many friends, and have very low self-esteem. While bullies are aggressive, they have very high self-esteem, they're very impulsive, don't really show empathy, they're fairly popular in high school, and they come from families that have dysfunctional mechanisms. So by teaching these students and the staff what bullying looks like and what the characteristics are, it can be helpful for them to identify what students they think are getting bullied in order to give them help. Once that is identified, the school needs to set a list of rules and a policy that everyone is aware of so that they can hold these bullies accountable. For my story, my bullies were not held accountable and they got away with the actions that they did. So it was very unfair to me and for the other kids that were also getting bullied. Another article from EBSCO states that schools should offer a school-wide information program to teach kids about what bullying is and what it looks like, as well as teaching them self-confidence so that they will stand up for others and themselves in order to stop bullying altogether. In order to protect the children and stop bullying, the school needs to change its policy, provide information about what it looks like and how to prevent it, as well as holding these bullies accountable in order for the kids to feel safe every day at school. When children are being bullied, it affects their education because they are too distracted and are being held back from their academic achievement. In order to protect the students, the schools need to provide information about what a bully and a victim looks like, as well as update their policy and hold each bully accountable. From my speech, you should have been able to identify how bullying affects education, as well as being informed about what you, the school, can do in order to change this. Being bullied is such a huge fear for some people, and when it happens, it can affect them for the rest of their lives. I hope from my speech and my story, you have been able to get a better understanding about how bullying affects people and motivate you enough to make a change.